Before this event happened where I got saved and got out of the story, we got to go back to California. I was involved in hip hop music, and I got to the point that one of my friends, Lloyd Irvin, out there in California, he's into I think Brazilian jiu-jitsu, real good brother. I think he's still in the frat stuff, but he introduced me to some guys from Death Row Records, and I went to them at a house. They was chilling out at their apartment, and I said a poem that I wrote, because I was a poet out there in California performing in clubs. And I did this Nat Turner poem that I had. I wasn't a gangster poet or gangster rapper. I was a stand-up poet. And this is before Def Jam Comedy Poet Slam or whatever. But I woke up this morning feeling great, stomach on full from licking my master's plate, ate, got my weight up. Hardcore to the floor poetry. And they just said, you come chill with us. And next thing I know, I was in Can-Am Studios doing little things on an album, like backgrounds and stuff like that. And then one day, they heard me around a piano singing a song, old school song, Trash Man didn't get the trash today. Boom, boom. Somebody was playing the piano. They said, redo that. So I redid it. Death Row ain't nothing but some G's. They took that, they recorded it, they put some ad-libs on it. But the ad-libs were, I did it, and it was hardcore, and I didn't like it. So I would hear them, they used to play this at house parties. And I would be like, man, something in me be like, no. You understand what I'm saying? But it still didn't shake me to be like, I ain't dealing with none of this no more. I'm just waiting for my turn to present my version of hip-hop music and poetry. But before I could do anything else and record in any other studios in Compton or wherever, I got in an accident on Crenshaw Boulevard on Martin Luther King Day. And when I got in an accident, I got in the car, I wasn't hurt. And I heard my first time hearing a real audible voice of God. And it said, this is your omen to get off the West Coast. That's just the words I heard. Then after that voice I heard, this guy who had hit me came walking up to me, and I was like, man, he was like, hey, don't call the police. I don't have no insurance. I said, man, don't even worry about it. I'm good. And he got in his car and dipped, and I dipped. My car was totaled, and I went to my manager, Derek, who was also a Q, and he got me plane tickets. The first thing smoking up out of there, and I was back on the, and I was back on the East Coast. Ended up in Fort Lauderdale for a hot minute, working with my brother Jesse down there. I was only there for I think 3 weeks. I was a bouncer in the club, trying to make something happen. It didn't work out there. I ended up back Cross the Tracks 1997, and that was the beginning of me forming my record company, Cross the Tracks Entertainment, with Robert Littell Singleton and Michael Jenkins. That's it. Before I left California, to go back east, I remember two events that took place. One of the main events was I met my manager's accountant, who was a witch, and she began to tell us all these stories about what the industry was about to do. And I was like, wow. And then I started telling her, why you not, active or doing, and she was like, well, I was in a coven and we conjured up a demon and we couldn't get it to go back. And now I'm like, yo, plus she had a black cat walking around, looked like it had human eyes. And I'm kind of spooked out, but I wasn't really scared of nothing, because I was in the psychic bookstore where the tarot card readers at. The bookstore's called the Psychic Eye, Sherman Oaks. And I was, headed toward that direction of dealing with psychics and all that. But because I was already into astrology, and I was studying, at that time, studying the Nation of Islam. In fact, I joined Mosque 27 with Minister Tony Muhammad, with one of my other Q frat brothers. He was a Q, and that's where I was at the time. But this young lady was telling me, she said, I said, so what happened? She said the witch came to her house. She got scared, and she yelled out the name of Jesus. So I sat back in my chair. I was like, what you mean? I said, why did you say the name of Jesus? And she said, because there's power in the name of Jesus. It's a witch now. And I was like, now I don't know if she was now a Christian or nothing. I didn't ask her no question. I couldn't, nothing like that. But I was tripping high and went all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast searching for fortune and fame in the music industry and acting. I was on movies, vampire movie sites and everything. I did all of this for a witch to tell me there's power in the name of Jesus. I knew there was power in the name of Jesus because I grew up hearing the songs all my life until I was 18 years old when I left the church. And it was power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the, in the name of Jesus. And so a witch had to remind me of who I was, but it was just one of those things that made me kind of be like this, but I still wasn't ready to change. And the accident was the next thing that made me change.